Welcome back, Wolfpack. This is going to be your guide for Pokemon Quest. Hopefully you've picked up the game. It's really fun. I've had a blast streaming it. In this video, I'm going to talk about some tips that you might not already know. Some of them you might, that are going to help you play Pokemon Quest better. Now, first things first, always be cooking, okay? You want to have your cooking pot going. I don't know if you got all four or you only have one, but regardless, you need to have that thing cooking at all times, okay? It's going to be beneficial to you. You can use it to teach crappy new moves to your crappy old Pokemon, or level up crappy old Pokemon into crappy new Pokemon, or even get some pretty decent Pokemon every once in a while. But usually it's just infusion fuel, to use a Destiny term, for your existing Pokemon. Number two is the expedition bonus. A lot of the times when I'm bored and I can't really beat the current level that I'm on, what I'll do is I'll level up my younger Pokemon, my crappier Pokemon, lower level Pokemon, on a level that they do well on. One that you could just put it on auto and go get some pizza and come back and they've already beat the level for you. And that way you can build up your expedition bonus so that the next time you try and tackle the hardest level that you're on, the expedition bonus will give you better drops as well as a better drop rate for your current level, meaning that the drops are going to be better on your current level, right? So you might as well rack up that expedition bonus, leveling up your lower level Pokemon, so that when you go and try the newest, hardest level, the drops that you get are going to be better. Another thing is, if you haven't checked out Cerebee's cooking guide, you need to check out Cerebee's cooking guide. You need to know all the recipes. That's all I'll say about that. There are two types of Pokemon. Everyone knows that. Close range and long range. But there is like a third sort of hidden type, which is like a mixed range Pokemon, okay? There are long range Pokemon with close range moves, and there are close range Pokemon with long range moves. I have a Golem right now that has a long range move, but he's a close range Pokemon. And then I have a Parasect that knows a bunch of close range moves, but it's a long range Pokemon. These Pokemon add a different sort of dynamic to your combat, and they're very useful, especially when you're talking about the infinite runaway glitch, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But they're very good for your team composition, because you don't always want to have you know, all your close range mons bludgeoning themselves against the enemy Pokemon like a Magikarp trying to do some damage, and you don't want to have your long range mons always far away, not doing anything to help the current battle. Another thing I want to talk about is scrolling over stats. There's a magnifying glass in the top right of your Pokemon screen that'll allow you to look at its bingo bonus. A bingo is something that happens when you line up 3 power stones in a line, like bingo, duh, and you get an additional bonus. Now, it would behoove you to stack your bingo bonus with your existing bonuses that are on your power stone. I make it a point not to keep any of the plain power stones. Those are the gray ones that don't have any additional effects, so that the only stones that I have give me benefits, so that I can feel comfortable, if I'm feeling lazy, to just hit auto and it will fill in, you know, the power stones with all the bonuses that I already have. Which brings me to my next point, auto. Auto is good when it comes to filling in your power stones, but I wouldn't use it every single time, because there's going to be circumstances where you have Pokemon that have way less HP that could definitely use a personal touch, you going in there and manually filling in the stones. But if you have a general powerhouse team, you beat a level and you get some new power stones, you could just go back into the team editor and click auto, and it'll just fill in the empty slots with your highest HP or highest attack stone. I recently got the DLC on my wife's account. The reason I'm calling it DLC is because it carries over to all of your other accounts in Pokemon Quest. So initially I was going to have a free-to-play account and then only pay for stuff on my wife's account, but then I quickly find out when I switch back to my account that it ended up transferring over. So a lot of people ask me, is it worth it to get the DLC? And I say absolutely yes. There are several bonuses that you get from the decorations that will help you play longer and be more productive during your play sessions that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get, except if you save up your PM tokens, and you can only get about, I think for normal players it's about 50 every day. The bonuses that come with the decorations increase your drop rates, increase your experience, your training effectiveness when it comes to move learning, and your level up experience when it comes to training. So they're very good to have. I would recommend buying the Dodrio little weather thing, the Gengar balloon, and one of the arches that increase the PM tickets that you get every day, and the ones that increase your battery, because if you're playing longer and you're more productive, you can level up your Pokemon faster, and you can beat the game faster and do everything you want to do faster if you get the decorations. Now, you don't have to get the DLC to get all of the good decorations. You could save up PM tickets. It's just going to take you longer. You can buy them with tickets. I actually bought the Dodrio thing, the Weather Vane thing, the other day with just tickets that I had saved up. Another thing I want to point out is save your tickets. If you're not planning on buying the DLC, if you're not planning on doing any sort of investment and you want it to be completely free to play, save your tickets and don't spend them on anything. This should be fairly, self-explanatory to some people who don't spend money on mobile games and stuff like that, but it's going to be very tempting to, if you fail a level, to buy all the materials that you would have missed, or to unlock one of your cooking pots, or something like that, refill your battery. Don't do it. If you want to be truly free to play, there are ways via challenges and quests and stuff like that for you to unlock more PM tickets so that you can spend your money on decorations instead of stuff that would normally be unlocked through playing the game. Going back to decorations, every time you beat a level and you unlock one of those statues, you want to make sure that you decorate with it, because it increases your Pokemon's experience gains on various levels. So that's something I just wanted to touch on, because a lot of people don't do that. Their secret base is fairly plain. You need to have your secret base looking ridiculous at all times. Make sure that you have the appropriate decorations set in place and that you're not wasting space with something that you can't really use. I said I was going to talk about the infinite runaway glitch, and basically here's what it is. If you hover your cursor over to the gray area next to the runaway icon, the little triangle icon, it's orange, and you tap A instead of B, you're able to infinitely run away with no cooldown. If you didn't do this, you would have to press B or just click the orange button with A and then wait for the cooldown to completely refill until you can run away again. Now, you do still have to wait on the animation, not the cooldown that you see scrolling around on the button. The animation of the Pokemon running away, turning around, and coming back, you do have to wait on that. But if you hover over in the gray area and use the A button instead of the B button and just mash A, you can infinitely run away with no cooldown on running away, but you do have to wait on the animation. This is very, very helpful when it comes to boss fights where you're waiting for your Pokemon to be revived, or you're low on health and you have a lot of stones that are increasing your HP over time, or your recovery or whatever, or if you just want to get away from those exploding Voltorb and Execute. You need to abuse the infinite runaway glitch. It's very, very helpful. Shout out to Austin John for pointing that out. It's a very good video. You should go check it out. Another combat related thing I want to talk about is itself running away. A lot of times, if you're in a situation where you want to click run away, you need to stop and look at your surroundings, because the AI is not very good in this game, okay? Oftentimes, the AI will run you straight into a wall, and 8 times out of 10, if you're in a boss fight and you're in a corner, it might run you straight into the boss. I don't know why the AI does this. It's not very good. So if you're gonna run away, you need to make sure that you're aware of your surroundings and that you're in a good position to run away, because if not, hitting run away, especially using the runaway glitch and running away more than once very quickly, could put you in a bad position rather than saving your team. Another combat related note is auto. I know I talk about auto a lot, and it's not a feature you should be using all the time. It's a feature you can use if you're feeling lazy and you don't really want to put in the time to do any sort of work, and that you sort of just want to watch your Pokemon go do their thing. They never run away, okay? They could all be on 1 pixel of health and they will never ever run away. Also, they tend to use moves that don't really make sense, okay? If you get the DLC, it comes with a Lapras that knows Aqua Ring, which doesn't do any damage, it just recovers health over time. I've seen this Lapras so many times use Aqua Ring at full health for no reason. I don't know why the game lets you do this. I don't know why the AI thinks it's a good idea to just spam Aqua Ring instead of doing damage and helping out the team, but try to use auto as little as possible. I like to use auto when I'm using a team of Pokemon that only have 1 move, and it's a damaging move, and it's a really good damaging move. If you have them slotted with the Whack Whack Stone and they're attacking twice at a time, then, you know, they're just flying around the map doing damage, putting in work all by themselves, and you don't have to watch them. But if you have Pokemon with multiple moves, and you might be concerned that they're using Aqua Ring over and over and over again, or Sing, or Disable, or something that doesn't do damage and isn't going to help the team in the current situation, try not to use Auto. If you absolutely have to use Auto, if you're being reckless and driving around in your car and, you know, playing Pokemon Quest, which you absolutely shouldn't do and I've never done before in my entire life, Auto can help you out, but just know that they're not going to run away and the AI is not very smart. When it comes to leveling your Pokemon in terms of experience and also infusing other Pokemon into it to learn new moves, if the Pokemon is the same species, meaning if you have a Charmander and another Charmander, the move learn rate should be 100%. I've seen instances where it's not, where it's lower. That's not how the game is supposed to be. It's supposed to be 1-for-1 exchange, right? So that you can just infuse up crappier Pokemon into your stronger Pokemon and give them different moves if you want to. So keep that in mind. If you have something like a Kabuto, which is rock water, and a Geodude, which is rock ground, technically it is the same type because they share the rock typing, but it's not going to be that 100% effectiveness when it comes to move learning, and you're not going to get as much experience when it comes to leveling them up, because to take full advantage of that, basically they need to be the exact same type of Pokemon. Which brings me to cooking. What you should be cooking and when is very important, because you should be looking at the type bonus on each level before you go into that level. If you have a powerhouse team and you know bought the DLC and you put it on auto and you don't really watch the thing and you just let them go do their thing and you can just throw money at the game, by all means, who cares what you do? But if you want to seriously play this game and get good and have a fun time in doing so, you should look at the type bonus on the level before you go into the level. It'll show you, you know, flying or electric or whatever, and it'll give you a number next to it. That number is added to your team's power, and it increases based on the amount of that type of Pokemon that you have in your party. So if the type bonus is electric and you get 1,000 points of bonus power because you have one electric Pokemon, if you have all three, you're going to get up to 3,000 and sometimes even 4,000. It's based on that Pokemon's strength, obviously, as well as their type. There is no type effectiveness in this game, but there is a stab bonus or same type attack bonus that we know from the main series Pokemon games. So don't worry about type effectiveness, but it would be beneficial if the Pokemon had a move of its same type. If you're not sure whether or not a Pokemon that you get from a cooking pot is good, look at its slots, and if it has multi-slots, the one that have attack and health, keep it. Those are very, very good, and they can help you out a lot. Also, look at its bingo bonuses, okay? To make sure that you're not leveling up this Pokemon that has fire damage resist minus 15%. Like, those stats are seriously dumb. Look for movement speed, look for critical hit rate, look for health on recovery, look for its own type effectiveness, such as electric type moves damage plus, electric type moves cooldown plus, stuff like that. So be wary of when you get a Pokemon, does it already have the potential to have a bingo? Do you need to level it up maybe once and then it could have a bingo and then it unlocks one of its bingo bonuses? Keep that in mind when you are looking at your Pokemon and whether or not you should infuse it or trash it. Which brings me to the Power Stones. Do not use raw Power Stones, at least not for very long. In the beginning, you don't really have a choice because you only have so many Power Stones. If you can, delete all your raw Power Stones and only use the Power Stones that have the bonuses, because they're going to be more beneficial to you than using those raw Power Stones. You don't want to keep using those raw Power Stones and neglecting all of those serious bonuses. Some of these gold Power Stones have some really, really great bonuses that you just won't get if you click auto every time, because it's going to give you those raw stones, or if you just want the max HP and max attack. You can get more benefits and your combat experience is going to be a lot better if you use the stones that have additional effects instead of just using the regular vanilla gray stones. If you don't have an alternate account and you really like this game, but you don't want to spend money on it, I guarantee you would have a great time if you just made an alternate account on your Switch and started playing all over again. It extends your playtime. You can have the same Pokemon show up. You can pick the same starter. You can have the same experience. It makes your play sessions a lot longer, a lot more fun, and you get basically double the bonuses. But if you're the type of person who just wants one account and you just don't want to spend money, I completely understand. But buying the DLC and having an alternate account, I would highly recommend, because you just get to play this awesome game that much longer. Currently I have 8 charges of battery, and every day I'm getting, I think, 190 PM tickets, and all of the decoration bonuses that I have, usually 9 times out of 10 I'm getting multiple Pokemon from my cooking pots, and those Pokemon are better quality because of the decorations that I have, because of the DLC that I got. Again, I understand if you want to be free to play, you don't have to buy the DLC, but it does help you out immensely. The Pokemon you get from the DLC are not very good. You get a crappy Snorlax, a crappy Lapras, Nidoran male and Nidoran female that are also crappy. Don't use those. They're garbage. I have a Snorlax that knows Earthquake and Rest. It is way better than the Snorlax that they give you in the DLC. I wouldn't buy the DLC for the Pokemon because they're trash, okay? Buy the DLC for all the decorations. You also get 300 PM tickets, and it transfers over to all of your accounts. So there's really not a reason, if you can afford to spend the money, not to spend the money on it. I'm sure you already know this, but Pokemon that evolve via trade or an evolution stone will evolve at level 36, meaning that if you have a Victory Bell, or Weeping Bell rather, and that requires a Leaf Stone, there's no Leaf Stone in this game, there's no trading in this game, it's just going to evolve at level 36. Make sure when you're cooking, almost every time, if you can afford to do so, make sure that you're doing a recipe. Don't just click auto and throw all of your ingredients away, because you're going to get mulligan stew over and over and over again, okay? Make sure whenever you're cooking that you're doing a legit recipe. Don't just click the auto button and hope for the best. You can do that if you want to be surprised every time, but you're going to be really disappointed with your results. Make sure that you're doing a legit recipe every time you cook. Pull up Cerebi on your phone, or if you're at home, just walk to the computer and look online for the recipe guides. They're there, they're available. There's no reason why you shouldn't be using a legit recipe to look for Pokemon that you actually want, instead of just throwing your ingredients away. The Gengar balloon doubles the drops of all of your ingredients, so if you're not going to spend any money, I would save your PM tickets, and that would be my first purchase. Or something that's going to increase your battery, but the Gengar balloon definitely is going to be top priority for you if you're just using PM tickets or in-game currency alone. Anyway, that's everything I could think of, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comment section below if you already knew this information, or if it was helpful, or if you hated the video, whatever. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out some of the links below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!